Lord forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack make it backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Fall off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the bay.
Godfather, calling out to the 211 family. Jeff Giacomo, Mikey Corleone, Speedy Corleone, Slick J Corleone, Big D Corleone. Now for the Diablos, Blackiano, Fidel, the Chin, No Name, Chopper Saudi, two-time, Lil Twan, he's on the run, the youngest done. Blackiano be killing for fun. They got us on the radio and the newspaper cause they heard that we were trafficking guns. Living for funds, pocket looking swole like we got the mumps. We strangling chumps, bodies coming up mutilated. Down in some valley swamps, too low of a motherfucking cocaine. Got loaded on the wrong fucking airplane. The nigga who was in control, mama getting all them blood stains. Said dang, who says my main man? Selling them keys to Nigerians.
Bullard's home is a public housing project in familiar red brick, Perry Homes. It is like most such projects in most big cities. And cemented into the red brick are a series of public policies that work against the children of the poor. Because housing for the poor is scarce, the 1,100 apartments hold not the officially registered 6,000, but with unofficial residents, relatives, and friends, more like 8,000. Because mothers travel up to 4 hours a day to work in downtown office buildings or suburban homes, their children are left to care for each other or for themselves, and drug abuse is rampant. Because family planning measures have lagged, there are many teenage mothers.
Do you find that there is an incidence of young girls becoming pregnant?
Yes, we have a high rate of that too.
But about what age?
Well, I used to say age 14, but I'm thinking I'm having to back up and say age 12.
Because the poor are shortchanged on education, it may take 2 years to get testing for a child with learning problems. And the Perry Homes schools have reading levels among the lowest in the city. Because Perry Homes was planned on a minimum budget, there are few places for children to play. Because of the same kind of planning, Perry Homes has no doctor, no dentist, no pharmacy. Nearby there is a well baby clinic, but no sick baby clinic. And the sick must travel 12 miles to wait for attention at Grady Memorial Hospital. And partly because of the general rule that welfare is cut off if there is a man in the house, fathers are often driven away so that mother and children can eat.
85% of the head of household is a woman, because most of the men who should be in the household, they cannot make a decent living. And of course it is better to know that a child will be fed 12 months out of the year than 3 months, which during the summer when construction work you can make a decent living.
The man in the house rule was written to prevent welfare cheating, to make sure that aid to families with dependent children would go only to families headed by mothers. But the effect of the man in the house rule is to create for children an atmosphere of investigation and surveillance. And thus, the welfare system in its operation turns out to be a system to make life harder for children.
The welfare system helps the disintegration of the American family. It offers money to families if the fathers will leave them and stay away, in that sense undoing the very stability of the family and taking away one of the two parents that children, of course, need. And what I have seen, I'm afraid to say, all over the country is that the legal system works against the best kind of home for these children. We don't encourage parents to be at home with the children. We don't encourage mothers to feel that they can find their destiny as mothers. We take away, in many of the most vulnerable homes, fathers from those homes. We herd foster children together in institutions rather than trying to find decent homes for them. We don't tap the resources we have in communities and with respect to older people so that they can help out vulnerable homes. We don't sanction and encourage and support in every way, morally, psychologically, and financially, the dignity and integrity of the home. And in the worst of it is that the homes that are most vulnerable are the homes that are least supported by the policies of local, state, and federal governments. And no wonder then, out of these more vulnerable neighborhoods, we get an endless cycle of troubled, delinquent, wayward youth who grow up even more and become the lawbreakers of our society. Now, I don't know how you break this cycle except by starting out with young children.
Yo, we back. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb. We on our way to the great state of Georgia with it. Y'all know we headed to the A. Old Atlanta. Not the new futuristic one. All my guys from Atlanta, y'all get in the comment box. All my lifelong AT aliens. Everybody, y'all run that bitch up. Y'all know I've been fucking with y'all since the start. And today, you know I got a legendary story from the city for y'all. Now we gonna talk about some real Atlanta history. While doing my research on the Diablos, I talked to a very reliable source that was very, very close to the whole situation. During the course of the conversations that we had, I noticed that I would not be able to tell this story without talking about the Summer Hill section of Atlanta, which a lot of you guys know and is popularized now by YFN Lucci. But specifically, Summer Hill is a neighborhood that's directly south of downtown Atlanta, and it's pretty much located between the Atlanta Zoo and Center Park Stadium. Also is bordered by the neighborhoods of Grant Park and Mechanicsville. But I guess most importantly, it was established in 1865, and Summer Hill is one of Atlanta's oldest neighborhoods, and it's part of the 26 neighborhoods that make up Atlanta's planning unit system, or whatever that is. Now, more importantly, we want to talk about Perry Homes. Now, if anybody ever lived in or been to Perry Homes, I need y'all to get in the comment box because they don't understand. Now, Perry Homes was completed in 1954, and it had 1,100 units for black families. Part of the projects had been destroyed in a tornado back in 1975, and the buildings were replaced in 1976, 1977. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Atlanta was the first city to try to demolish the housing projects, and Perry Homes was demolished and completed back in 1999. But it had a very, very, very strong history. And in a sense, the Diablos are tied to that history. Now, this is a very, very, very huge story that's borderline deserving of a movie, because when I start to break it down, it's almost two factions. When you mention the Diablos, the first thing you're going to think is a rap group. And you also could say CMP or Causing Much Pain. And pretty much it was a group of few guys who it was even hard for me, and still hard for me, to narrow down the exact amount of members. But I know they had a member by the name of Flex Diablo, another guy by the name of Little Rel B, Scott Diablo, and another person that's very, very closely tied to this story is going to be a guy that we covered by the name of Tommy Columbia B.T. Walker. Now, he also goes by the name of Mr. Big Time. So this story has several layers, but we really can't talk about the Diablos without talking about those guys that I mentioned, and I'm sure several guys that I failed to mention. Y'all get in the comment box if y'all know the specific members, but they are a part of that original Atlanta sound. So when I say that, I said this is going to be about the old Atlanta and not the new futuristic Atlanta. If anybody remembers the history of Atlanta music, it was kind of like dirt roady. It was kind of like, I want to say grungy, but it was definitely original. It really kind of reminds me of Outkast's music at first, but I want to say that these guys even predated Outkast. And one of the huge hood and breakout hits that they had was It's Them Damn Diablos, or CMP. And that song is and will always be a classic in the city of Atlanta. But according to authorities, there was also a dark side to the Diablos, and that dark side, murders, robberies, kidnappings, drug dealing, pretty much a gambit of bad shit. And though 15 people were indicted, 2 people definitely stood out in particular. And one is going to be a guy by the name of Billy Durant Ladson, or Billy Diablo, as the authorities referenced him. And the other is going to be a gentleman by the name of David Freeman, who at one time was named Cop of the Year in the city of Atlanta. So this is definitely a crazy story, and one like no other. Now, according to the Atlanta Constitution, they're going to say that federal authorities led by the ATF begin investigating Freeman's alleged ties to the Diablos gang, and that would take them up to 2 years. Now, authorities would refuse to say what specifically prompted them to target Freeman, but they began the investigation following an investigation of crimes allegedly committed by the Diablos. Now, I'm going to show you how wild and crazy this story gets. So while researching the Diablos themselves, I came across a guy by the name of Mark Eugene Noblet from Riverdale, Georgia. And I happened to see that he had been sentenced by United States District Judge Clarence Cooper for orchestrating the largest ecstasy manufacturing operation prosecuted in Georgia. Though Mobb ties worthy, that's not what brought me to him. What brought me to him was during his investigation, it showed that in November 2001, it was a gentleman by the name of O.G. Byrne was the victim of a home invasion robbery that was said to be committed by members of the Diablos gang, which targeted high-level drug dealers for robberies while wearing Fulton County Deputy Sheriff uniforms. Now, during that robbery, members of the Diablos gang handcuffed and beat O.G. Byrne, locked him in a closet, and stole $30,000 in cash, as well as 2 kilograms of ecstasy powder. Now back to Officer David Freeman, or Day-Day, who they referred to him as. Now he would be charged with 5 other people when they would allege that he was among 6 men who made up the Diablos leadership. Now the 26-page federal indictment alleged that Freeman, based on his knowledge and actions as a police officer, alerted the Diablos to police investigations, search warrants, and impending arrests, and recommended that individuals he knew to be drug dealers be robbed for their narcotics by the Diablos, with those drugs in turn being sold for profit. They also said that he supplied the gang with drugs that he seized from other drug dealers. Now, probably the most crucial part of that indictment is going to be referenced that Officer Freeman urged Ladson to kill an informant by the name of Michael Goss for providing police with information about the beating, robbery, and attempted murder of a rival drug dealer. Now, they're going to say that Freeman allegedly showed Ladson a police report naming Goss as a witness. Now, Goss, who was 26 at the time, went by the name of Mike, would end up being killed by multiple gunshots as he drove along Ezra Church Drive on the night of June 11, 2002. Now, after being indicted, Officer Freeman's defense lawyers were counter that the Diablos was merely a rap group and that Freeman had occasionally worked as an off-duty security guard at their performances, with him being quoted as saying, "I know they did a performance at the Bounce on Bankhead Highway, but no matter how much he tried to separate himself from the gang, he would end up being convicted." Now, as far as his sentence, that's very, very questionable, because I want to say it was somewhere around the area of 7 years, and I could be wrong, but I want to say he ended up cooperating. But I don't have any kind of paperwork to prove that. But I had to cover this story because there's no way I could cover the city of Atlanta or cases out of Atlanta without covering the legendary Diablos. So I want to shout out to them. Definitely shout out to Scott Diablo. I see he's still doing his thing. Y'all make sure y'all go check him out and follow him on Instagram. But y'all make sure y'all tune in with me and tap in. Y'all make sure y'all check in with me on Instagram, on Twitter, POP_A_LOT. Y'all go hit Clubhouse if y'all on there. Y'all search up the Mobb Room. That's where we got this good conversation going. Y'all hit the subscribe button right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. And y'all make sure y'all get in the comment box below and flood that bitch. Y'all let us know if y'all was around during this Diablo era. Y'all let us know about Perry Hill. Y'all let us know if y'all tapped in with Summer Hill, who we need to cover next. And y'all know what it is with me, man. It's your boy Popalot. Y'all get at me, tweet me, mention me, tag me, CC me, email me, text me, call me, stop me in the street, however y'all want to do it. I'm here for all that shit, man. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb, Mobb, Mobb.